Got involved in drugs at a very early age. I think I was 12 or 13. My best friend and I went and saw the movie They Shoot Horses, Don't They? He gave me this piece of paper. He said, chew on this. And I go, what is this? He goes, just chew it. Well, it was LSD. And at 13, I took my first 3-day trip watching the movie They Shoot Horses, Don't They? I'm a firm believer. If you're going to do anything, you do it all the way. And so I'm not going to pay for something that I can get for free. It's all economics. So I started selling drugs. And I would buy a bag of weed and break it up into nickel bags and sell it at school. And a friend of mine was in a motorcycle club, so I started getting drugs from them. Started selling drugs to them. And it multiplied. That was back in the movie Blow. That was that era, mid-late 70s. And so cocaine became very prevalent. And gee, something this big that smells to all high heaven versus something this big that gives you that much profit. It was just, and that's what people wanted. So that's what I converted my business to. At one point, I had a kilo a week cocaine business. One day I walked into a little country Baptist church near where we lived, where friends had invited me, and accepted Christ as my Savior. It was really weird because immediately I was one of those that was relieved from everything. But again, I didn't have this addiction to anything. I just had this drive in my life to be 100% for whatever I did. After I quit smoking pot and quit doing drugs, I like to say that I kind of woke up. I came out of a little bit of a stupor of about 20 years of abuse, 15 years of abuse. We were going to a church in Merritt Island, and I actually was on staff with them for a while, and something was still not right. There's something missing in my life. The whole time during my life, I've rode motorcycles, been involved in the motorcycle lifestyle since I was a kid. My dad put me on a bike at 7 years old. My dad rode. We just were always motorcycle people. I've always enjoyed the brotherhood of motorcycling. Back in the old days when I first got involved in it, it was a community. And even today it still is. I was looking for people to ride with, and I met some guys from a club called Soldiers for Jesus. And they talked to me and asked me to prospect in, and I did, and I spent 3 years with them. We ministered to the 1% worlds. We went into every clubhouse, but on a weekend I was putting 400 or 500 miles in the saddle. 300 was a slow weekend. We'd be from Jacksonville to Miami and to the other coast and out of state. But people were seeing Jesus in areas where he's not normally seen. A lot of the Christian groups that go into these 1% worlds, they come in, drink a bottle of water, they say hi, they stay in their own little group, and then they leave. And for me, that just wasn't 100%, It wasn't doing what we were sent there to do. How can these people know us and know the Christ in us if we don't socialize and hang out with them? So when I became the president of the chapter here, we were out late, and we stayed with them. And when they got rowdy, we were there to be with them, and we would have in-depth discussions with these people. We were what was considered neutral, and we were welcome in everybody's house. And they knew that we were men of honor and respected us. And they knew that what we saw at one house wasn't shared in another. And because of that, the Soldiers for Jesus have a lot of respect. But it just wasn't growing, and we redesigned the state, and I was here alone. Nobody wants to go do what I do. Nobody wants to ride 200-300 miles every weekend, be at clubhouses until 11, 12 o'clock at night and watch people get drunk. And I was told, well, you can't be alone. You can go 100 miles north or 100 miles south and be part of that. And I wanted to be part of here. I wanted to minister local here. I wanted to be part of the guys' lives that I've been part of for all these years. And All of the 1% clubs now are having national chaplains. And the national chaplain's job is to minister to them. And the guys that I've met that are phenomenal men of God. And when you take this position, you're placing yourself at risk and at harm. But you're also able to reach and touch into people's lives in a way that you'll never touch. And so with a lot of prayer and a lot of kicking of my wife's feet and dragging, I went to INCOM this year and talked to my club, and my national P took me aside and he said, "You know what, Danny, just like a missionary is sent out, we'd like to have the honor of sending you out." They prayed me out, and I started the next phase of my life. In ministering to any kind of people, the most important thing I found is the mutual respect. There's got to be some kind of mutual respect. People aren't going to hear what you say if they don't agree with who you are first. I like to live my life 100% for Christ. I get up in the morning, Lord, just, let me be your light. Please use me. All of my tattoos have been post-salvation to minister to the people that actually have them. The most important one I put on my forearm, and it's large so that when I'm on my bike people see it. And it's letters LSSL, live to serve, serve to live. But when I got saved, I have that on my chest, and God spoke to me and said, "Okay, you can't have any other gods before me, Danny." And I said, "God, I won't. Do you want me to quit?" "No, I just want to be number one." And so when I put this on my arm, it really does mean live to serve and serve to live. And it's how I live my life. And it's what I wanted to do for mankind, is just serve them. And I found that in this motorcycle community is a large group that nobody will have anything to do with. And everybody needs Jesus. My name is Dan, and I am changed.